break show where learning design meets laughter and tech meets the real world of work. I'm Alicia Williams, a learning experience designer and show host who loves exploring the wild intersection of creativity, software, and smart tools that actually make learning better. Each episode, we mix a little work humor, a little L&D geekery, and a lot of curiosity about the real world of how we learn at work. Today's guest on our break show is going to share with us something quite innovative. So to begin today's interview and introduce our guest, does anyone remember the Jetsons? You know that cartoon from the 80s where there's a family in the future. They took phone calls on their watch. They had a housekeeper who was a robot. Even their teacher was a robot. Did you ever imagine that we would be in this world where we are listening to robots for direction? Here we are, 2025, and a lot of learning designers are now opting to use talking head avatars like Synthesia, Colossian, HeyGen to communicate information, and maybe we feel a little awkward about that. I want to explore this topic with an innovative thinker. Emil Heidkamp from Sonata is here to join us. Emil's work spans knowledge management, digital transformation, and humanitarian learning projects worldwide. He's been helping organizations rethink what happens when the teacher might also be a machine and how that can actually make learning more personal. We're so excited to have you here today. Emil, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Alicia. I've been pulling a couple of long nights helping clients around the world use AI to deliver coaching and to deliver training the same way a human instructor would. Great to take a moment to just talk about stuff. I love everything you're doing and look forward to this.
Thank you. Thank you for being on the show today. So let's get into it, Emil. I'm so excited because you shared with me you're doing something that's a little beyond what these AI avatar companies who are making learning easier to do. If you have limited bandwidth in your team, when we need me to update this training, I can type something in and have a little puppet talk for me. But you have a completely other take of how you're using AI to advance learning. So what do you call these characters that you've created for learning? Or give us some background how you came to this extraordinary idea.
We're thinking about AI a bit differently. We're thinking, hey, forget for a moment about training content development. Can AI actually help us with training delivery? For all these years, one of the main things we've been doing is e-learning, because for a while that was the main way we thought about learning at scale. I remember like the late 90s, e-learning started out as a way to say, hey, you don't have enough teachers. It's a logistical pain to get everyone in the room together, to learn on their own independently at their own pace. But even there is something to be said for having an instructor who can tailor things to the audience or to the individual, a coach, and deliver a truly personalized learning. If someone doesn't understand something, they can actually ask a question back. We're saying, well, can AI serve that role? Our philosophy has always been learning experiences should resemble the rest of the web and the rest of the world they interact with. I can't recall the statistics right off my head, but basically it's like some ridiculous percentage of people are just, their web interactions start with talking to AI. So it's like the first thing they do is they go talk to ChatGPT. That's the primary way they access information. Increasingly, accessing digital media or the digital world is about talking with AI entities. And so it's okay, how can we use that for learning? And right now, a lot of people are kind of a mindset where, an L&D department is, okay, how can we use AI? Hey, we can have AI write scripts for YouTube, for videos.
Right.
Or we can have AI create slides for instructor-led training, or we can have AI design e-learning. And so that's really saying, let's use the new tool to create the old stuff. So what we've been looking at is, no, what's unique to AI? How can we use the fact that we now have talking computers that can have conversations with people to support learning and work performance? And so that's where our company started out when we first started experimenting with AI in 2019. And it wasn't until like maybe a year and a half ago, with like maybe around when they went from ChatGPT 3.5 to 4, where we said, wow, these things are smart enough now that they could actually probably act as a training facilitator. They could probably act as a coach. I'm not going to go all the way to mentor, but yeah. And so like they could actually interact in ways that previously we said could only be done in a live context.
One of my favorite parts of what you're doing is this idea that coaches can be live, can be very informed. Tell us a bit about your product, what it does, and how you are using it to innovate in learning and development.
So what we've built is, let me just go to screen share. It's part of the show that we talk about.
All righty, let's do it.
Yeah, so here's a platform we developed called ParrotBox. And what ParrotBox is built for, it's all about delivering coaches, role play simulations that are powered by AI. In a minute here, we can just demonstrate some things like this one's a role play, for instance.
Travel/hospitality. Customer service roleplay. This activity will demonstrate how ParrotBox AI can create.
All right, so
roleplay.
I'm mainly going to be showing like some promotional demos. We are doing things for actual clients, but I don't want them to be like, hey, why are you screen sharing our internal stuff? But,
Right.
this one we built that was just showing off. So here's one way you can use it. You can use it for role plays and simulations. We'll get into coaches in a minute. But
Okay.
in this one, we're doing retail. It does talk, but I'm going to mute it just for convenience. And so here we are. And so I can pick a customer.
Let's read out that question. Let's see, what is the situation that we're looking at? What's the scenario?
What we're going to do here is we're going to show how it could do a customer service role play.
Okay.
This one's a coffee shop. So basically, I'm going to just go, hey, my name's Emil. And so I'm playing a manager, and we're going to have an upset customer complaining about something or other. There we go.
So the learner is reading some scenario on the side.
Yeah.
Let me switch to a more suitable
Okay.
voice to match the character.
All right, there's the intro.
As store manager, you have authority to remake, replace drinks and food items, issue refunds for current transactions, offer complimentary items up to $25, adjust prices within 15% of standard, grant basic loyalty program adjustments, must seek approval for refunds on previous day transactions, compensation exceeding $25, changes to standard recipes procedures, staff scheduling changes, not permitted to override health safety protocols, modify loyalty program terms, access customer payment information, change store hours policies. Introduction. You are reviewing the morning sales reports behind the counter when a well-dressed man in his late 20s approaches you with purposeful strides. His dark suit and white dress shirt suggesting he's heading to or from a business meeting. He stops directly in front of you and says, "I need to speak with the manager about your mobile ordering system. This is the third time this week my order has been completely wrong, and I'm tired of wasting my time fixing your staff's mistakes."
Okay, so right here we have like basically we can do free form, right? With e-learning in the past, you could like make little scenarios like these, but they would be branching conversations, right? And here we have complete free entry, and so I'm gonna briefly engage, but then I'm gonna say something outrageous that's gonna instantly cause me to lose, and then you'll be able to see feedback. Okay, so I can speak to it with voice recognition, but I don't want to try that while we're podcasting, so I'll just say what I'm typing. Okay, so he's got a problem with the mobile order, and I'll say, okay, sure, it's completely wrong. And so I say, okay, geez, may I get your name, sir, to check the system? Okay, let's see here. I've never worked in a coffee house, so it does have rules about what I'm allowed to do. Here.
Arjun Malhotra, ARJUN, last name MALHOTRA. And before you ask, yes, I'm a rewards member. Account should be linked to my phone number ending in 4782.
Okay.
Look, I don't have a lot of time here. I placed my usual order this morning, large sugar-free vanilla latte with oat milk, and somehow your team managed to give me a regular latte with regular milk and full sugar. Yesterday, it was completely the wrong drink entirely. And Monday, they forgot my order existed until I had to ask about it 15 minutes after my pickup time. He taps his watch impatiently. I have back-to-back meetings starting in 20 minutes, and this keeps happening. What exactly are you going to do to fix this ongoing problem?
Okay, yeah, so basically, I don't know if I'm the only geek here who plays Dungeons & Dragons.
Yes.
Yeah, so basically what it does every time we play, it's like Dungeons & Dragons where you roll the stats for a monster. So apparently I got one of the hardest customers to crack here. I don't know. So now the thing is, so I can say whatever I want just to get past this to show some other applications. Should we attempt to, I don't know, should we attempt to engage sincerely, or should we say something sarcastic that's going to cause?
Yeah, I'm kind of curious. In this scenario, it's the input that you put in your field is now going to have an LLM that's going to give it the direction of the scenario.
Yeah, this will actually relate to the coaching. With e-learning and branching scenarios, we're writing scripts, right?
Right.
But here we're actually modeling the psychology of a real life customer. And I can say whatever I want to him. And some of the customers will be timid. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't mean to bother you.
Yeah.
And some will be aggressive like this fellow. And they'll have different problems. There might be some that just want to abuse you, and there's actually no solution to their problem. There's a list of maybe like 24 problems they might have in the coffee shop.
Okay.
Yeah, so I had no idea this guy's gonna have a mobile order issue.
Okay.
When we sat down, I didn't know what his personality was gonna be like. It just generated that. This guy is really upset. He wants to know what I'm gonna do about it, and I'm gonna try to engage sincerely one more time before we just blow this up and move on.
Yeah.
So let's go. No, coffee shop, but let's say. So I'm gonna say, hey AI, what does the system say about his order? So let's just ask the AI for a minute.
Okay.
All right. So, okay. Here we are.
Oh boy.
Looking up Arjun Malhotra's account in the system.
Yeah. So
Customer
we'll go here, and so yeah, it's got his name, and then he did say oat milk today. Mobile order placed. Vanilla latte with oat milk. That was what he wanted, right?
Yes. Okay. So the
So he
user
said, yeah.
can ask AI to provide more context.
Right. And well, there's rules.
Okay.
Anything that I would realistically have access to as a manager,
Mm-hmm.
and I realistically have access to as a manager, it'll let me do. I can't do things that be unrealistic. So I would say here, I'm just gonna say, check his social media profile
Okay.
to see what things he likes. I've never said to do this before. They'll probably tell me. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that information wouldn't
That
be available.
information wouldn't be available in our coffee shop system. We only have access to customer order history, loyalty program data.
So I
and
decided to be
basic-
unrealistic. Like your coffee shop barista can't look up your social media profile. So I tried to do that, and the simulation saying, well, that's against the rules. So I could also say ridiculous things like, I'm going to give you a lifetime free pass. And it's going to say, no, you can't.
Right. Can we ask for a lifeline?
No. So I think the idea is this is live practice. And so we'll get feedback later. So we are in the moment here. We're really doing it. So I don't know, man. I have worked at a coffee shop. Okay, so clearly we screwed up his order, right? Well, my question was it in the system? So it says, yeah, his mobile order, yeah, oat milk, large and latte with oat milk, and he says that we gave it blood. I don't doubt
Right.
it. He's like, okay, this are completely wrong, and then fine, and then he said, I wanted oat milk, and we said regular milk. Okay, great. I don't know what to say. I mean, we're in the wrong here. I guess we could be sincere. So it's something give up to $25, right?
Yeah.
I'll say, sir, I might blow it here. Your order was placed correctly with oat milk.
Oh boy.
My sincerest apologies for the error. I promise he's in a rush, right? So he doesn't.
Yes.
He's not gonna
I
like
don't
this.
think
It's
he's
not
gonna like this
satisfy him.
answer.
No.
He first needs you to take care of his feelings.
Yeah, his feelings.
Customer service, like, I appreciate you, and
So, sir, your oat milk. My sincere apologies for the error in preparing it.
Right.
I recognize you're in a hurry. Thanks for that. In a hurry, can I get you anything that can be made quickly? Here is a $25 gift card to make up for this and Monday's incident. He's not gonna like this. Well, hold on. Yeah. Oh, more than I expected? Okay, well, fine.
Arjun pauses
Yeah,
mid-gesture, looking slightly taken aback by the
well,
immediate
okay.
offer. Wait, hold on. A $25 gift card? That's actually more than I expected. He glances at his watch again, then back at you. Look, I appreciate that you're trying to make this right, but I need to understand what's actually going wrong here. You're saying the order was placed correctly. So is this a training issue with your baristas?
Oh, God.
Because getting the wrong milk isn't just an inconvenience
Oh,
for
boy.
me, it's a health concern. I specifically avoid
got him
regular
there.
dairy. He shifts his
Screwed
weight,
up.
still clearly pressed for
That is-
time. Maybe just a simple Americano with oat milk. But more importantly, what are you going to do to make sure this doesn't keep
Oh,
happening?
boy.
What are we gonna do?
Because a gift card is nice, but I need to know I can actually rely on getting what I order when I'm
What am I
rushing
supposed
to
to
move.
do?
oh, he is advising the entire company.
I don't even know what to do in this situation. I'll get that record out of you, sir, and
The CEO method
I'll get that. Okay, let's see if it accepts this. I'll get that Americano for you, sir. And next time you come in, well, the problem is he's ordering in advance, right? Americano, right? But what can we do next
Yeah.
time? You tell me what to do next time.
We appreciate the feedback. We want to ensure a quality experience. Our system says this, what we'll do is we're going to give you this Americano, or we can give you the rest of the week Americano. We will make sure we get your feedback to who needs it so we can transform our experience.
And do please accept the gift card. This is not the quality of you. Oh no, it's gonna be terrible.
Let's see.
I don't know.
Arjun nods
Yeah,
slowly.
okay, well,
His
that's
expression
what he accepts the gift card. I'll take the Americano. He glanced at it. And I'll say,
Energy
how long for that Americano? I'll make it personally, sir. You'll note that we're using 2D. We'll talk about that in a moment. But yeah,
Okay, so it was a very lively interaction because
absolutely. Yep. And the thing is, we've actually found that the 2D, where you can get photorealism, it's better
Okay.
for reading emotion than some of the like the 3D avatars that they try their best, but they can't get that
oh
subtlety.
yeah.
So this
Okay.
is this is actually an AI generated image, but we went
Right.
2D rather than 3D because then you get photorealistic, so you can't
Okay.
get those nuances of expression.
Right.
That should be the end of it. And so I'm back at you, and fine. Let's kick over to feedback, and we're done.
Emil, what I'm seeing as a designer, I think about accessibility. That's very important for the end user experience. The learner can do this course with earphones, read the writing, or have it read out to them. Do you have any other options that you've created in your programs to improve the accessibility for different kinds of learners?
Well, we can actually get into translation in a bit because one of the beautiful
okay.
things with AI is that it can naturally switch languages.
Yes.
So that was a role play type of interaction. But let's take a look at something different because, like we said, this is also being used for coaching. I'm trying to find the perfect generic demo because where this really has value is when it gets in deep into the technical weeds of a particular field of work, right?
Right.
And the coffee shop makes a nice demo because unlike some esoteric form of insurance or something, everybody understands coffee. A lot of things with clients are for more technical fields, very specific things, like selling data center equipment or something.
Right.
Let's look here. So let's try one that's coach.
Okay.
There's assessments, there's coaches. So let's try one that kind of teaches a class here. All right, let's try here. So I'm gonna go to cost accounting tutor. So instead of doing a role play, it's gonna actually teach a course. And this is on healthcare cost accounting, which the best way to explain it to people is just helping healthcare institutions keep track of all their spending, right down to like how much it costs to have someone change the linens in a patient's room. And so I'm gonna go down here, and one cool thing we can do is we can actually have user profiles. I'm gonna say here, I am the manager of a cardiology department, right, at a hospital, right? Let's say at a children's hospital.
Okay. Yes, we love children.
So I'm gonna save that. And so now I'm going to tell every AI agent I interact with now that I am the manager of a cardiology department at a children's hospital. So let's watch as the tutor launches.
Hey there, Emil. I'm Jerome. Think of me as your friendly, slightly world-weary AI facilitator for today's session. I'm channeling a bit of Bill Nye energy, so expect a mix of science, skepticism, and a dash of fun. We're diving into the wild world of healthcare cost accounting, specifically how it applies to your work managing a pediatric cardiology department. Before we get rolling, is there any particular...
So as you see, it acknowledged the fact that I'm managing a pediatric cardiology department.
Sounds good.
There you go. Now we'll see. It's going to ask a question in the next slide. It says, is there anything particular I want to learn about?
I see.
I'm just going to say, I want to find a way to control costs without reducing headcount. But you'll notice that in the next one, it's going to tailor it to the fact that I said pediatric cardiology, right? So here we go. So
That's a classic conundrum, Emil. In a children's hospital cardiology department, you can't exactly cut corners on staff. These are kids' lives we're talking about, not widgets on an assembly line. But cost control isn't just about layoffs or slashing budgets. Sometimes it's about finding those hidden inefficiencies or rethinking how resources are used. For example, cost accounting can help you spot things like unnecessary repeat tests. Or maybe you're using premium supplies where generics would do just as well. Or perhaps you could optimize scheduling so you're not paying overtime when you don't need to. Even something as simple as analyzing when your cath lab is busiest could help you match staffing to demand, rather than just sticking to tradition. So let me ask you, if someone walked up to you and said, Emil, how much does it actually cost your hospital to perform a pediatric echocardiogram? Could you give them a precise answer, or would you have to do some digging? And if you had to guess, what would be the trickiest part of figuring that out?
And so I'll just give a typical answer to that. Someone is pushing and say, I don't know. We would just look at our general ledger, how much we paid for supplies.
So they give their best guess.
Yeah.
And the course is speaking back to them based on its best knowledge of that topic.
So I said I really don't know. Here we go.
That's a totally honest answer. And honestly, you're in good company. Most department heads would say the same. The general ledger is a decent starting point, but it's a bit like trying to figure out the ingredients in a cake just by looking at the grocery bill.
Yeah, so basically we're having a conversation as if I was working in a hospital, and it tailored the question. It didn't just say this. It specifically knew I worked in pediatric cardiology. So it said, hey, how much does it actually cost your hospital for a pediatric echocardiogram? So that was tailored to my role. And then I gave a pretty typical answer. I said, I don't know. Most hospitals, not just in the United States, it's everywhere. Most hospitals couldn't honestly tell you exactly how much it costs to treat a patient on average. So I said, I don't know. I would just check our general ledger. I check our accounting logs, which, as we'll learn in this course later, is not sufficient. But then it just responds to what I said and said, that's an honest answer, and you're in good company. Most department heads would say the same, which is true. Most hospitals aren't keeping track of this. But as you see here, none of this is scripted. I mean, basically, we have handed the AI agent exactly the same slide deck and facilitators notes that we would hand a human.
So it's a closed system of the content that you want your learners to know. And it tells them, except for like its communication style, that it praises you for what you do know.
Well, we can decide how much leash to give it.
Okay.
Basically, like we actually imagine once. I'm sure instructional designers might appreciate this. Yeah. So this machine here is, I'm sure that if anyone here has ever had to onboard a group of 8 or 12 or 24 trainers, you got some who they get up there and they just start talking about whatever. But you got some who show up unrehearsed. And you have those star pupils who just okay, they bring their own spin on it. They adapt to the audience, but they stick to those notes that you gave them in the instructor-led training. And so basically, we didn't just design a process. We designed the psychology of those characters in the
Okay.
coffee shop role play.
Right.
In this case, we designed the psychology of the perfect healthcare cost accounting tutor.
Oh,
And I actually give a shout out to Dr. Dan.
okay.
Hi, Dan.
Hi,
So
Dan.
basically, oftentimes we'll pick a specific human with their consent and say, okay, that person. So that's our ideal teacher. And usually it's the subject matter expert we're working with.
Right.
And yeah,
Because I wanted to say that when we're thinking of a live experience, my learners have no attention span. Okay. They look at TikTok, they want things fast. If they're confronted with a paragraph, I have to think about this as a live instructor, as an e-learning designer, that I can't have too much text at a time or their attention starts to dwindle.
I would actually challenge that.
Speaking
I would
of-
challenge that. I would
right.
challenge that mentality. A lot of people believe that.
Okay.
But honestly, it's relevance and engagement. Think about it this way. If your organization forces you to sit through a safety training, like my favorite one is my son works at a place where they have a warehouse and they have some gas pumps outside, some petrol
Okay.
pumps. And basically everyone who works in the warehouse has to get trained on petrol safety. I'm like, don't sit there with an e-cigarette and blow up the whole
Okay,
place, right?
yeah, definitely.
So when someone makes you do that kind of thing, where you're like, whatever, then you zone out. But think about any time someone has been like, oh, I want to do my own home repairs, or they have a member of their family get sick.
Okay,
All of a sudden, because it matters to them, I don't know if you have this experience. All of a sudden, they might have gotten C's and D's. in
it's
school.
true.
Well,
You
but they can now
were
read
perfectly-
they can now read endless blogs, watch endless videos because
Wow.
they're engaged and they care.
Wow.
And this is what we're getting past. So the thing is, so ideally, if it's talking to me, it's not just talking about cost accounting in general. It's talking to me, the cardiology department manager. This allows us to say, hey, we can make this relevant to every single learner's job. You're not making a one-size-fits-all presentation. Depending on how much it's
So-
in depth.
The way that they elicit info from the machine, if you will, the kind of answer that they're looking for will inform them instead of just reading something pre-made that makes them
Right.
have to dig through it. I see.
And we can help it along by giving the entity of the AI agent some background on the learner beforehand. So
Okay.
perhaps I could show one that has no script.
Yes. Yes.
Right, great.
Let's
So
do that.
let's see here. Okay, so I'm going to go and let's see.
Good.
So let me just create a new user here. Okay, so previously we did an example from healthcare. This one's from financial services, and it says, climate finance tutor. Now, in case anyone's wondering what is climate finance tutor, basically, when the governments of the world say, hey, we're going to give money to fight climate change, what happens is that money gets passed through local banks in multiple countries, and loan officers are supposed to go up to businesses and say, hey, would you like a loan to buy more efficient irrigation system for your farm, or to buy more energy efficient machines for your factory? Right. So I'm just going to go down here and I'll say, I'm a relationship manager. Right. Here's an example of one where there is no script. It's a virtual coach where it's a free-form conversation. So if I may share another example.
Okay, you're sharing.
All right, great. So now this is a climate finance tutor. To give some context, when you hear that the governments of the world are giving X billion dollars to help fight climate change, what they're doing is they're actually paying that money into funds that get distributed through local banks in different countries. And then the bankers there can go to farms or factories and say, do you want a guaranteed loan to get a new irrigation system for your farm that uses less water or a more energy efficient factory equipment? And the one issue though is a lot of the bank personnel don't feel comfortable talking about green technology. They say, I don't understand it. So this is actually a tutor that can help them with these things. So I'm going to say, I am a loan officer in Kenya who works primarily with food processing factories in the coffee industry, right? Fine. All right. So it should remember that. And we'll say, let's begin. And of course, this is the first time I've used this as this user. So I'm going to accept all the disclaimers and say it's okay for it to save.
Okay.
There we go. And we're very cognizant of permissions and making sure people
That's good.
when things saved.
Mm-hmm.
And there we go. And here we go. So Gina, the client finance tutor, is reading my profile. And then here we are.
Climate Finance Tutor. Hello, I'm Gina, an AI tutor designed to help financial institutions build their climate finance portfolio. I can see in the files that I was provided that you're a loan officer in Kenya who works primarily with food processing factories in the coffee industry, but it would be great to hear more directly from you. Do you have any general questions about climate finance? Or perhaps I can help identify opportunities.
So I can just
to
say
grow-
a real life example, something that might be typical in this is hey, I just wrote a mortgage for a coffee processor who sells to a brand in the Netherlands who are in European markets, and his customers have been on him about ESG goals and whatnot. Fine. And so now it's just going to be like, okay, great. Now you're going to see something in a second here where it's like, okay.
Thanks for sharing that. Just to clarify, would you like to focus this conversation on assessing climate finance opportunities for this specific coffee processor client? For example, identifying potential projects or upgrades that would help them meet their customers' ESG requirements and possibly improve their profitability? Or are you more interested in preparing actionable recommendations and a business case to present?
Yeah, so basically the coach has like 7 different types of conversations it could have. So it's kind of asking me, where are you? Do you want to just bash out a proposal right now? Or do you want to think this through? So I'm going to say, I just want to brainstorm ideas of what they could buy.
It's asking you, how do you want to be coached? So it's
pretty much
you a reminder to ask clarifying questions until it understands exactly what you're
and that's the main thing, because the one thing about if you just use generic ChatGPT, I don't know if you run into this, it wants so desperately to get to an answer, it doesn't go through the usual discovery that a human expert would.
We have to ask it correctly.
Exactly. And so we're reducing the burden of prompting through a well-designed thing. And it's not, yeah. So now we're going to dive into it. And I say, I just want to brainstorm ideas. Now, if you look in the upper corner, it should like load different modules. It'll probably load agriculture and manufacturing, but let's give it a go. All right. So it's going to load different knowledge articles because based on what I said, I mean, you'll see it's going to load into its own memory. There we are. All right, so there we go, and here we are.
Great. Let's brainstorm some practical ideas for what your coffee processor client could invest in to both improve their operations and help meet those ESG, environmental, social, and governance expectations from their European buyers. To make sure I'm giving you the most relevant suggestions, could you tell me a bit more about their current setup? For example, do you know if they've already made any recent upgrades to their equipment or facilities? Are there any particular pain points they've mentioned, like high energy bills, water use, or waste? Do they own their own building, or are they renting space? Even if you don't have all the details, that's fine. I can give you a range of ideas that are common for coffee processors, and we can narrow it down.
And so basically, so this is actually getting a little bit past, what we would typically call training, and this is actually on the job point of performance support. I mean, I have a client. I'm interested in talking to them about loans for improving the energy efficiency of their facilities, and it's guiding me through a structured conversation. So you'll note that it's like there's probably like at this stage maybe like seven questions it's looking to answer. It's giving them to me in like chunks of like 3. And the thing is, though, I could say and I can come back later and it might actually say, oh, this I don't know exactly what their situation is, but I will meet with them tomorrow and ask these questions and get back to you.
Okay, that's a good scenario.
Let's see. Yep, and it might give me homework. It might tell me to go do that. But let's see. It should say, it should say, have a good day, and it'll end this should probably end the situation.
But now this is an ongoing coach that they can reach out to and continue to communicate with.
That sounds like a solid plan. Honestly, you don't need to have all the technical details right away. Just getting a sense of their main challenges and priorities will go.
Thanks. And then,
You're welcome. I'm glad you feel prepared. Remember,
so if you wanted to go back and get more information, you're going to have this ongoing coach relationship with an expert in your field who can keep taking information and keep providing you information based on the specific scenario.
Absolutely. And the cool thing is we might need to do a little bit of editing magic here, because at some point in the next 2 minutes and 30 seconds, it's going to write a summary of the conversation we just had.
Oh, that's good.
And that will be available to it in future conversations. So I'm just going to refresh, and then we'll wait a second here. And then if you can do your audience a favor and just match cut ahead.
Okay. Let's see this. We come back.
Okay. So, we've come back. So it's been a bit of movie magic here. We've cut ahead in time. It should, and you'll see right here, if I go to manage past conversations, it now remembers that past one, and we'll see what it says when I come back.
Here comes Gina. She's back.
Yep. Who's back?
Climate Finance Tutor. Welcome back. It's great to see you again. Last time, you were preparing to meet with your coffee processor client who supplies a Netherlands brand for European supermarkets. You are planning to gather more details about their current setup, pain points, and facility ownership before brainstorming investment ideas to help them meet ESG requirements. How did your meeting go? Were you able to get the information you needed?
And so there you have it. So basically, when I show up, it remembers the last conversation we had. It's ready to continue or go in a different direction.
And that's what
So-
you'll provide. Hey, so they said this, but they don't have this.
Yeah.
Is it multimodal where it can generate some kind of document for them or anything like that?
Yeah, we're actually adding a thing next week where it'll be able to share like formatted PDF templates. So
Oh, that's good.
the big problem with like enterprise use is like, because the thing is, I guess the one thing I would say about all this is most of us are accustomed to going on ChatGPT, messing around. Maybe we create a space and invite a team member or two. But in terms of like really managing things on an enterprise scale,
Mhm.
not many people are taking it to that level. And so we're saying this could be the central point by which you deliver training.
Yeah.
And it's also things you'll notice like we weren't relying on an image generator to come up with those role play people in the moment. Because one, it'd be much too slow and too inconsistent. So we are pulling from a library of characters. And similarly here, when it finally makes like formatted outputs, we can actually give it a specific PDF template and just say, hey, it can generate formatted, I don't know, JSON with all the data and pull it in the same way you would like a regular Adobe. And so when it gives them an action plan, we can actually give it a template for that. And yeah, so we're really trying to create a more consistent experience because I think the big temptation with AI, generative AI exists today. If you pull it open and you say, hey, make a silly picture or say something talk to me about the history of jazz. It'll say something. But will it say the same thing consistently every time? Will it stick to your policies? Will it guide everyone through still the way a coach or a facilitator would personalize it, but will it have that core of a consistent learning methodology? Because right now, if you were to train like 3,000 people with AI coaches, can you really just say, hey, go talk to ChatGPT? You're gonna get wildly different experiences. And you're also gonna find out, especially when you get into hardcore technical things, you really need a system that can do the knowledge management of like, hey, it's got a whole database full of information specific to your company that can pull up in the moment. So what we're really creating here is, we're starting with learning, but it's also just a way to present very consistent and directed. I don't feel like doing it right now, but if we opened up Gina, the finance tutor, and tried to have a conversation about something else, Gina would direct us right back to climate finance, politely. But so this is about really having directed conversations. And the other thing is tools. Right now, the orientation of ChatGPT, it's kind of like Google Docs or something. It's there just to be a productivity tool for the user. What we're doing is we're actually creating an entity, like a virtual coach, virtual tutor, who works for the organization.
Yeah.
And that's what we're delivering.
I like it. Also, working at the enterprise level is very different because of security, because a lot of these LLMs don't provide the privacy that enterprise does. So Myra Roldan, she is a great innovator in the learning industry and talking about AI. And something that she said at ATD TK this year is no policy is a policy, because everyone's using their different LLMs to answer questions. But in order to keep the content contained and still have the assistance, it's so good if you're working with an enterprise account to truly hold on to private information.
Yeah, and we could have a whole nother interview just about the boring aspect of how we manage the data and the privacy for enterprise.
It's a good conversation because I think that people are very afraid of AI because of what they tell it.
Exactly, and that's it. And so we're not using AI to create content. We're using it to create entities, agents that can have authentic conversations where they are talking to you, specifically the learner, but they are also, like all us instructional designers, serving the agenda of the organization. And that's really what we're ultimately delivering.
I love it. So you're speaking at DevLearn 2025. Tell us the name of your session so that we can keep an eye out for that.
The name of the session is Don't Use AI for E-Learning, 3 Better Use Cases. I think it's on Thursday, but check the program. So
Okay, that's excellent.
We'll also have copies of a book I just released called Teaching Machines to Train Human Beings, which you can also get an ebook copy. You can get our website right now, www.ParrotBox AI. That's ParrotBox.ai. And you can get the book right now there and look at some demos, hands-on. And but we'll have all that learned, and I look forward to seeing you and everyone else there.
Yes, I'm so excited. So thankful to have you here. Thank you for coming to my show. You can definitely catch Emil presenting at DevLearn. I encourage you to follow Sonata and follow Emil because he's quite a voice in the community. Check him out in the schedule for Sonata Learning ParrotBox AI sessions. And for more of The Brick Show, keep an eye out for our upcoming episodes where we'll share some new tools and capture some new audience insights. Thanks so much for tuning in, and definitely get in touch with Emil to learn more. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for having me, Lindsay.
Thank you for coming.